Brian.
And I'm Logan. And the alpacas are packed up today because we're actually out of town until Tuesday night, Wednesday. But that's not the point. We're Crush Cards! Hi, team. Happy Monday. My marvelous Magdalenes. Oh boy, we've got a fun tech video for you today. So for those of you who are out of the loop, this weekend there was a remote duel extravaganza. They happen about once a month. And this weekend we decided to participate because it's the first time since the accident that we could do so. And how did we do? Not great, but that's okay because you know what we did learn a lot, and you know what, even though these events don't always pan out the way we want them to, you still learn as a player. It's good to get the experience, and well, these happen once a month, so there's always next time. But good news is we have some really cool tech stuff we want to talk to you about today, and it's about one card in particular that literally everyone is playing and is actually nutty this format.
Coming into this event, we felt really prepared for meta, and we faced nothing but rogue, so you know, maybe it was our fault for not preparing enough for every deck in the game. But we did see one card that goes super well in the meta strategies and in the rogue strategies. It was all over the board today, so that's what we wanted to talk about. But before we get into that, if you guys are not already a subscriber, feel free to go down and hit that subscribe button, throw this video a like, and let us know what deck you are the most excited to play in this current format, because we saw a billion different decks yesterday.
We also have an Instagram, it's at CrushCardsYGO. Feel free to go give us a follow if you want to come say hi and interact with us a little bit more. We also have a super wholesome Discord community. It's absolutely bombing. We almost have 2,000 members in the Discord, so feel free to go be that 2,000th person. Wow, that was really hard to say, but go be that person. Thanks. And then last but not least, if you want to further support the channel, we have a Patreon. The end of the month is coming. We have bloopers going up any day now. All the side decks are there. There's merch, mystery boxes, blah, blah, blah. It's really cool. I highly recommend checking out the Patreon with some of the best rewards, but if not, that's okay. We're just happy you're here to talk about cool techs. Wow. So, wow, I bet you guys haven't seen the thumbnail and you're dying to know what card we're going to talk about today. Well, guess what, team? It's Super Poly!
Hey.
Yay!
And you know what else you haven't seen? Our brand new chairs.
Oh, yeah.
We got cool the chairs.
Yeah,
We're here.
chairs.
We're in like super comfy chairs. Anyways, okay, yeah, so today's topic is going to be Super Poly. This is a card that can be main deck, side deck, you can play it rogue, you can play it in meta decks. It was everywhere, all over the board today.
Between like matchups, I think there was Super Poly used at least 6 times in between all 3 games. It was absolutely bonkers.
Yeah. So just in case you guys are not aware, there are tons of targets out there right now, and we just wanted to talk about some of them so you can be more prepared for some of the decks that you are playing, and maybe just to play around this insane card.
And I bet you're wondering why Super Poly is so good this format in particular. It's because it's a very open format. There are so many decks that are actually really good right now. And luckily, Fusion Monsters, a lot of them serve as Super Poly targets, and they cover the entire board from literally any deck. Like, I Super Poly'd some decks today that I thought I would never Super Poly in my life. So we're gonna talk about all those targets today and what decks you can use them for, and you know, why is that good? Starting out with our most generic boy, it's Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. He's great. He requires 2 Dark Monsters. That's literally it.
Super
He's
easy.
Probably the most generic Super Poly
easily
target.
The most generic one.
Yeah, he's been around forever. Everyone's been Super Polying into him for years, but this format, he's really good because, well, a lot of cards are dark. Hi, Dragon Link, I'm talking to you.
And this just transitions us into our next card as well, but like one of the main cards today that people are trying to out, which I would argue is probably one of the main reasons Super Poly is seeing a ton more play, is Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. The card is everywhere. Every deck was playing it. I was playing it. Like
I wasn't.
Yeah, it just Super Poly is just the #1 out to that card. Verte and Dragoon, bye. It's Starving Venom. It's super easy.
Which brings us into the next card on the list, which is Predaplant Dragos Tapelia.
Yeah, this card's actually really good too. It is the Dark Monster and a Fusion Monster. Crazy. There's tons of different decks out there playing Darks and Fusion. Once again, if you want to end on like a Dragoon and a Verte, Dark and a Fusion, or you want to make, you know, your Starving Venom that way, you can do it. There's other boards out there like the Buster Blader Dragon-ish kind of deck that's starting to see a ton of play. They're ending on a Fusion Monster and a Dark Monster.
Oh my
it's just so crazy.
And then there's decks like PK, which also, you know, play Dragoon, and guess what? All their cards are pretty much dark, so you can play it for that. Winda, she's a Fusion Monster. If you have a Dark Monster, or if they've got a Dark Monster, go nuts. Or she can be the Dark Monster. Maybe there's another Fusion Monster. I don't know, go crazy. Dragos Tapelia is kind of just like the beefier version of Starving Venom. He also has a really good quick effect where you can put a Predator counter on like a card, and then that card can't activate effects for the turn. So that's pretty neat. You basically just target one of your opponent's face-up monsters, plop a Predator counter on it, and they negate their activated effects, and it feels real good.
Our next target, these are obviously like probably the most generic 3, but the next one is Mud Dragon of the Swamp. This is just 2 monsters with the same attribute but different types. This was really popular back in the Salad format because you could fuse away your opponent's Sunlight Wolf, and like if they were going for a Nightmare Phoenix to pop your back row and to like get that co-linking to draw, all you had to do was Super Poly both of them away into this Mud Dragon card. And it's also like basically a negate, which is really cool.
He's kind of like a really weak baby VFD for like one card.
Yeah. So Mudragon has the ability where your opponent cannot target cards on the field with the same attribute as itself. And the best part is quick effect, it can change its attribute to anything on the field.
Wow.
So really, really cool protection. And a good example that actually came up for my opponent today, which didn't work in my benefit, was I was playing Dragoon Eldritch. They normal summoned a Marionetter. I had Eldritch on the field, and then they super poly them both away because they're both light monsters with different types. So like, it really hurt. So I mean, thank God we still won that, but we didn't do super hot in the rest of the matches.
Speaking of Altergeist, this actual instance with this card came up for me as well. Silquidus is a wind, and I ended up getting a Godarla on the field and super polyed my own Godarla and the Silquidus away. Yay! Silquidus goes bounce bounce, but not when you super poly.
Speaking of wind monsters, there is a deck out there that is slapping a bunch of winds on field, protecting it, and then barrier locking you so that you can't special summon anything except wind monsters. Good news is, super poly outs that entire board regardless.
And Bird Up typically ends on the Samorg Link, our Appaloosa, and Link Karibo, or some amalgamation of those three cards together. And that little trifecta is all it takes for your Super Poly to be live. And then you can go into your World Chalice Guard Dragon Almarduke. Yes, it's a mouthful, but yes, he's a big boy. And what's really cool about good old Almarduke is he can attack all monsters your opponent controls. He's got his own little UCT effect, and he's big. So if you're worried about Bird Up, you're worried about getting locked out of playing, I don't know, any card that's not a win, Super Poly Almarduke. It's a match made in bird heaven. The nest is full. And then this next card actually came up a lot for me today. It is the Eldritch, the Mad Golden Lord. I played a lot of Eldritch matchups today, and honestly, I wasn't mad about it. Sure, my deck was meant to break boards and like break combo boards, but that's okay because you know what? Eldritch, free.
As someone who's playing Eldritch today, I can confirm that this is actually a very, very painful extra deck target for your opponent to super poly into you.
People don't really expect you to have the super poly target. Granted, I was playing a deck that had, I think, all of this, like every single card we're talking about in this video, it was in my extra deck. And the reason that this is so good is because if your opponent gets an Eldritch and a Conch or a Hawk on field, guess what? You got it. You just activate super poly them away, make Eldritch the Mad Golden Lord, and you've got a 3,800 body on board that can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. And you know what? That kind of sucks for Eldritch because they can't really out it themselves unless they have something like to get rid of it.
The only outlet you do have in the main deck is Eldritch in hand to send itself and a spell trap card from your hand to the graveyard, targeting it and sending it to the graveyard. And like, this card really hurts because it punishes you for playing the game. Like, you try to banish something in your opponent's graveyard, or you try to pop something to, you know, to provide interruption, and then your opponent just punishes you. Super polys not only your trap away, but your Eldritch as well. And as Logan said, this thing's 3,800. If they're in their turn while you're trying to punish them, typically, if it's in that grind game state, 3,800 plus whatever else they have on the field, is just enough for game. So it doesn't matter if you can get to Eldritch the next turn, because there is not one.
And then going into games 2 and 3, it's actually really fun because then they know you have super poly, so then they're almost hesitant to bring both out. And let me tell you, I had opponents who were nervous to actually bring both out, and when they did, I was like, they tried to go to battle phase, I'm like,
nope.
Gotcha! So it's a cheese card. It's weird because, you know, they don't expect it, but when it happens, it feels really nice.
Not if you're me. It felt really bad all day long.
I'm sorry, Eldritch players. And then last but not least on our Super Poly target list for this meta is everyone who loves to normal summon Alistair Effect.
If you are playing the Super Poly package, you are typically going to be trying to out some of these invoked boards because all of these invoked decks are playing Invoked, they're playing Shaddolls, they're playing Dogmatica. There's just like resource dot deck, engine after engine after engine after engine. And in order to try to answer some of that, Invoked Elysium is a great answer because it's any invoked monster and then any monster special summoned from the extra deck. It's a 2-for-1, basically.
And you know what? For all those invoked doll decks that are riding on Winda and a Makaba, invoked monster, special summon from the extra deck. Goodbye! Like, it's so cool!
Yeah, it's fun. It's free.
But this is just good against any invoked deck because odds are they're going to end on more than just a Makaba or whatever their invoked monster is. And you know, it's pretty nice.
Makaba Pass, best board in 2021.
So long story short, we just wanted to do a really cool video touching base with you guys on one of the coolest tech cards in this format, and that's what we think to be a Super Poly.
Super Poly is unfortunately one of those cards that kind of felt unfair today, at least on my end. You were playing it, I was on the receiving end.
I was having a great time.
On the receiving end every single game. And like, I'll tell you what, when you have Judgment set and you just can't respond to it and your whole board gets cleared, it feels really bad.
Super Poly truly is one of those cards that comes in and out of the format, and this, well, this is the format because it's such an, as I said, an open format. Like, everyone's playing everything. And while that's kind of frustrating because you don't really know what you're ever going to go up against, you don't know what you're going to go up against. But the good thing is Super Poly is a really versatile card with a ton of targets, and a lot of them we didn't even name. And you can play it, and well, you can still OTK and win and absolutely break a board with no problem.
So we just wanted to bring this video to you guys real fast, just so you know and you are aware moving forward that there are tons of targets out there, and that a lot of decks are playing either in the main deck or definitely in the side deck Super Poly. Can't respond to it. It breaks your board. It gets rid of your monsters. It punishes you for playing. Be careful and watch out, because I got Super Poly'd every game today, and I'll tell you how frustrating it was.
And I Super Poly'd some every game today, and it felt great. And even though we didn't do as well as we wanted today, we wanted to at least bring this video to you so that you know what you should expect to see if you do play in any events in the near future. If there's any cool tech cards you think we should talk about for this format, feel free to let us know in the comments down below. We'd love to do a video talking about them. But that's all we got for y'all today. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the notification bell. We will not be streaming tonight or tomorrow, but we will be streaming later this week because we are out of town right now. But I hope you guys have a wonderful Monday, my sweet, beautiful baby bears.
And because we'll be out of town, that means we will be updating our Instagram and Topps' Instagram. So make sure you go follow that. All the links will be in the description box down below.
But we love you. You matter. And we will see you guys probably on Wednesday. Which is Brian's
My birthday! I mean, 30 and old.
He's old. Bye.